His name is Kamau Secuni Aayomi, and he is my father. So he made his transition from cancer officially, though I would say cancer was just a result of many other factors that it manifested as cancer. And some of those factors were just dietary, but a lot of it was emotionally based, like repressed anger, repressed, just repressed emotions that weren't fully expressed and then manifested in his body as cancer. He made his transition on February 14th, 2003. It was very hard for him, and I don't know, I can't prove this, but it is my opinion that he chose to leave earlier than they said he would. Like he was supposed to last a little bit longer, but made a choice to go sooner. He was in a hospice at this particular point in time. I was traveling in the States. I had a one-act play at the time, so I was traveling around. And he was single. He didn't have a spouse or a girlfriend or anything like that. So he was in a hospice, and it was really painful. You know, cancer is not, it's not joyous. It's very painful. And knowing him and the pride that he has, that he was just like, I could easily see him communicating with one of the staff and like, look, I'm ready to go. So I think he made that choice to say, I'm not about to lay up in here for 7 months feeling like this. I'm ready to go. And he made that choice. It was rough in the sense of having to take care of him during some of those phases, having to assist him going to the bathroom, like, because he cannot get up out of bed to go into the bathroom, and literally having to wipe his feces and do these things. And for me, I watched him do that with my grandfather. As a teenager, him doing that with my grandfather, I was like, and he actually said, like, you know, watch this, because one day you may have to do this for me. I was like, I ain't never doing that for you. You better stay healthy. I ain't never doing that. Of course, as a teenager, it's like ego and pride coming in, like, oh, I ain't never doing that, but, you know, love goes through that. And so to have to do that, it's difficult. It's very difficult. I was actually learning a lot about death and what that means, just as a whole. And I study spirituality and the aspect of we are more than just this physical body. And so during that particular point in time, I was actually reading books with him a lot about, you know, that this isn't it. It's not what we were told in terms from a Catholic perspective, because my family on my father's side is Catholic, and you know, the paradigm of heaven and hell being so prominent. And not that he was super religious, he wasn't, but when people start to contemplate their mortality, then they tend to default back to whatever they learned as their religious base. And I wasn't a Catholic. I didn't grow up that way. He didn't impose that on me. My perspective of when this passes is that we have options. And our options are going to be based on where our consciousness level is at. And that will determine what will happen. And so I'm having this discussion with him, like, you know, you can choose your experience after this and stay open, and though it's painful now, remain open to knowing that there is more, and it's not just this or that. And so when he did make his transition, even at the funeral ceremony that we had, myself and I have some other family members who also do not practice the standard traditional way of doing things. We come from more of an African perspective, which is the transition, or so-called death, is a celebration. So at the funeral, I told everybody, don't anybody wear black. Wear colors, bright red, bright blue, green, come colorful, because that energy is gonna go to him. And we don't want it to be all heavy where it's just like, yeah, I've died and now I've left everybody sad, so I'm gonna stick around to try to make everybody happy. But if it's celebratory and it's fun and energized, we still grieve, of course, but we grieve in a way that is celebrating the life, then that can lift the spirit and allow him to transition and go on to whatever else he has to do. Initially, like I didn't cry, I didn't do anything. I was really keeping center for the family and trying to, you know, make sure everybody was celebratory and not bring in heavy vibrations. So I was really focused on that. And I didn't have a release in terms of tears and emotions. And so afterwards, I still was just kind of like in the space of not really feeling sadness per se. And then I went to sleep one night, probably about 3 days after the funeral ceremony. And I saw him. I met him from the dream state, and then it all came out. And he was cool. He was chilling. He was in good spirits, and it wasn't heavy or anything like that. And then all the emotion just flooded out and flooded out and flooded out and flooded out. It was a clearing. So it really changed in the sense of what he left in terms of really like a tangible monetary thing, you know, which first allowed me to travel and gain all this other experiences moving about internationally. But then, of course, as I grow in my own being and learning more about myself, I see more how his influence on me has come through and his experience has come through me, and the errors in judgment that he made, I don't have to make those, you know? So it's like he's really a study tool. His life is a study tool for me. For someone in a similar situation who has just lost a father or a mother or brother or sisters or anyone that they've loved, that life continues. You know, it doesn't stop, that it truly is a transition point. There's a healthy way of grieving. There's a way you grieve that allows you to release the energy that you've been with this particular person, that connection that you got, to release it and to allow that spirit to go light, you know. If we can understand that the spirit moves on, it doesn't cease to be. If we can understand that we can still give love to this spirit, not only directly, like just putting up little thank you, giving gratitude for your life and the influence that it's had, but also the way we live our life. If we can do that, then we are just generating a field of love, a field of light energy that particular soul will benefit from and go on and feel good. And we will go on and feel good about it. Everything leads to something else. So every time someone leaves this world, someone comes in. Death and life are forever intertwined in a dance. Forever. There's no life without death. There's no death without life. And as I see it, this is just an infinite process of life, you know? Before we step into a house, we have to walk through a door. To leave a house, we have to walk through a door. Every time we walk through a door, we're making a transition from one space to another space. Now, there are infinite houses. There are infinite doors that we walk through. This is only one of them.